Welcome back to Rev It Up Bowling. My name is Jason Robarge, and today we got a simple practice session for you. And the man I will be bowling with is the Prince himself, JP. What's up, Doc?
What's happening with you, my guy?
Good, good. You guys saw JP in a previous video. We did a challenge. I ended up whipping his ass.
Yes, you did. I'm not gonna lie about that one.
This video is simply just gonna be us practicing, and we're gonna be working on JP's game a little bit. With that said, we're gonna go ahead and get into it. Now, our speed comes from our legs, right? Our arm swing generally needs to be about the same, just because if we try to speed it up or slow it down, we're gonna be using muscle. We're never gonna be more consistent in gravity, and we really don't wanna use muscle because we're gonna grab it, right? Like we were just talking about. When we speed up the ball, for me particularly, your feet move at a pace and your arm swing moves at a pace. And that's what we call timing. You're trying to match up that pace with your feet with the pace of your arm swing.
Tracking.
To be at a specific point.
Synchronization.
Now that point needs to stay the same. That's your flat spot, that's how you hit the. In order to speed our legs up, and we cannot physically speed our arm swing up, the only way to speed our feet up without speeding up arm swing is to reduce the distance of our arm swing.
Tracking.
And this helps me quite a bit. What I'll do is, that's kind of default here. What I'll do is actually drop the ball a little bit. Now most people think, oh, you need more speed, let's get the ball up to get the momentum.
Yeah.
We don't want that. We don't want to adjust necessarily how quick our arm swing is, right? By doing this, the only way to make it quicker, because now, let's just say you raise the ball up, now you have to travel that much more distance. That's making it even longer, right? That means you're gonna have to speed it up even more. My method is you drop the ball a little lower. What that does is it shortens up the distance of your natural arm swing, not changing the speed or anything.
Tracking.
But what it's gonna do is it's shortening the time of your arm swing, which means that your feet will naturally have to move quicker in order to keep the same timing.
Tracking. Basic question for you is when grabbing the ball, it's kind of being tense, in a sense, and that kind of holds it to where you're you're here the whole time and you're here. Versus being grabbing, but being a little looser and helps it release a little bit. That's what the concept behind it is.
Yeah, exactly. Like right now, and we're working on your arm swing. Right now, it's pretty, and especially when you get here, it's a lot of
dropping in the elbow a lot.
Yeah, exactly. You have a really controlled arm swing. We want to get that loosened up just because gravity is going to be way more consistent.
Yeah.
Maybe one day, you're poor nutrition, something, your muscles aren't firing the same way, all that stuff. Gravity is the most consistent thing we can use. Our bodies are not. So we'll work on the looseness of your arm swing for sure. But as far as the speed goes, just try to get it dropped a little bit more and see if that helps. If it should help a little bit, but since you do muscle it, we have to kind of fix both.
Copy.
Yeah, just a little bit. And what actually happens when you throw the ball is you kind of muscle it. The first thing we got to work on is you muscle up. You physically have to pull the ball up.
Yeah.
And then when you get to right here, it's called deceleration.
Yeah, so, slowing down in a sense.
Yeah. Now, when we hit the ball, we'll decelerate a little bit because you're adding that motion in. It's going to take longer. But in general, if we were to throw a spare shot, right?
Yeah.
And just let gravity take it, that's a speed, right? Right now, what's happening is you're getting here and you're having to pull up.
Yeah.
What that does when you pull up, you have to grab it.
Yeah.
Right? The first thing we gotta fix is that pull up. The other thing we gotta fix too is when you come down, you just decelerate a lot. It's like, it's up and then it's here and it's coming down and it's like.
And I'm really trying to curve it and stuff.
Exactly. If we can get a looser arm swing, more of a swing than a throw, that's gonna help you, one, get looser. You're gonna be able to manipulate your hand better.
Copy.
Because it's loose, you can get around it, all that stuff. When you're locked into it, it's hard to get around it or whatever the case.
Can I try a loose shot, a straight ball like you just said?
Yeah.
Try it?
Yeah, and then you can do one thing to kind of give you a mental idea. You can almost sit there and be like, just swing it a few times and you're like, okay, this is what I want. And then bring it to your starting position. Much better, much better. You're doing less, but the ball is going 16, yeah, right? So you can see, if you watch this point right here, we just want to get it to where we're not
so tight. We want to be loose.
We want to be, the guys with the most rev rate typically can get out of the ball the quickest. It's just like throwing a yo-yo. If you can spin it faster, you're gonna have more, right?
Copy.
If you're really muscly with it and you're trying, you're probably not gonna get as much as just trying to flick use leverage.
Copy. Can we do one more straight?
Yeah, do one more straight. That was okay, but that was more muscly than my shot. And you can see it. That one was 14.6.
14.6. Yeah. So when I'm a little looser, the speed comes automatically for it.
Yeah, exactly. Like if I was working on, just a nice loose arm swing, probably what I'm gonna do, just take a nice couple swings just to get that feeling, right? Nice loose arm swing. Like it's going to
curve. It's gonna do its thing.
Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, like I didn't really try anything, and that thing was 18.4, right? Like my spare shots are typically 19.20. My strike shots are typically 18.17 right there. It will slow down because you're trying to hook the ball, but off your hand, it should generally be the same speed unless you're actually trying to, slow the ball down or whatever the case may be.
Copy. You want it straight or should we curve it?
Yeah, curve it now. Okay. But again, I don't care how much rev rate you put on it or anything. Just really
work on being loose.
Let the arm swing. You can almost feel like this is a pendulum, and you can almost feel like everything's swinging. You can see my shoulders, see them moving. This is a pendulum.
Copy. Can you do me a favor? Can you put your hand where you would like me to have it at?
That's good.
Okay. I feel a little more tense.
Yeah, I think part of it may have to do with what we were working on with your fitment. You are like sort of half thumbing it a little bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think, this one I have my thumb in all the way.
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah.
And this one actually feels a little more better than the gym does. We might just have to open up the thumb a little bit more. Yeah, my thumb is in there a little more comfortably.
Better? Yeah.
Better.
Yeah, I think one of the things to definitely work on would be, like, we can only get your hand as loose as to grip the ball. Now, if your fitment is saying, hey, I need to grip the ball to just hold on to it, we're kind of fighting that portion of it, but we can definitely still loosen up your arm swing a little bit. Let's go ahead and get set up. We'll play a little trick now.
Copy.
Everything looks good there. Now try to throw the ball.
Normal walk and everything?
Normal, yep. So this is a good example on when you have to grab and hold on to the ball. The reason we have a left hand onto it is so we can put the weight in that hand and keep this loose. If we're sitting there all gripped up, it's hard to, this is a good example because the only way to hold it out there is to
let it go.
Is to hold the hell out of it. That's an example of like what not to do, right?
Okay.
That was what not to do. What we're gonna do is get you set up again. Feel like you're putting, go ahead and get set up. Feel like you're putting 70% of the weight in your left. What that's gonna do is get this a little looser. Now your left hand's holding the weight. When you start the swing, now you can just kind of drop it. Instead of like holding it and then try to drop it, you're holding it with your left hand. And you can almost think of this as just like, almost like a catapult. Now you're releasing the catapult and it's falling.
Felt a little more looser because I had a little more weight there.
Yeah.
But it's like I had more control a little bit more. But I feel like, is it good to try to have like even weight distributed when you're holding the ball ish? Or is it like you want to have?
Like I always say like 70-30.
Okay.
Yeah, I always say about 70-30, roughly 60-40. That way, if you do the majority of the weight in the left hand, you can kind of loosen up.
Okay.
Go ahead and get set up again. We're gonna change one thing on your start away. We need to have some momentum to pull the ball going up, right? There's two things we have to do. It's either we have to pull it, which we don't wanna do, or we have to have some momentum going there. Okay. Right now, when you drop the ball into your swing, it's very much, it's here, right? And then you start and then it goes like this. It goes straight down. There's no momentum to really bring it backwards. So at that point, you then have to pull up to get to that point. So what we're gonna try to do is get you a little bit more momentum when you start your swing.
Okay.
Now this may mess your timing up a little bit, no big deal, we'll work on that. But what we're gonna do is I'm gonna try to get you to kind of push out a little bit more instead of dropping it straight down.
Okay.
Yeah, so you almost feel like you're rounding it off.
Okay, round it off.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can let that ball transfer the energy backwards.
Okay.
If we go straight down,
it isn't gonna. It is putting me tense and everything.
Yeah, exactly. But if you think about a swing, right, it's like half a circle for the most part, right? If we go down and then
it's more energy.
Yeah. Then we lose all that potential. And then we have to pull it to bring it up.
Pull it up. Okay.
Yeah. Try to just kind of not push it. Don't do that. But just more, and you almost want to feel like you push out a little bit, and then the ball is dropping. But it's that rounded it's a roundness up top.
So they're the same footwork, same everything.
Same everything, yeah. We're just gonna round it off at the top a little bit more. When you get here, do you feel like you have to grab it to hold on to it?
A little bit.
A little bit?
Just a little bit.
Okay.
Not too much. Well, I think the one thing that's been like sticking in my head is like really trying to, when I'm down, or at least when I'm getting to the spot, I want to be in an area where I'm not already critiquing the ball, but I'm already ready to.
Yeah. So I'm gonna throw a shot. What I want you to pay attention to is kind of like how I get the ball into the swing.
Okay.
And just see how it rounds off and how the energy, you can see the energy kind of go backwards instead of like pulling it. So I'm gonna do one kind of how you do it. I'm gonna do another one how I do it, right? This is kind of how you do it a little bit, where it's like, and then I have to like really pull that ball up. Like what I felt there was I dropped it here and then I had to pull it up, right? When we get into a push away that can transfer more energy, you're gonna see that ball be a little bit more rounded to start. But the biggest thing is if you watch the ball come back, you can see like when I push away and then when this foot comes here, you can see me like step over this foot and then everything kind of comes up a little bit.
About like midway between your second and third step.
Well, everyone has a little bit different timing.
Okay.
It's more a visual to.
Yeah, I see. What I saw was what you just said. You're not dropping it. You're just having all of it in kind of one silky motion.
Yeah, you can almost think of it too as a point. Like if everything's straight, right, and I'm going back and forth, right. Imagine this line being drawn. Right? When we get back to this point, we have to get to that line, right? If we drop it into that line, we can't transfer energy. What we're gonna need to do is almost feel like you're rounding it into that line. That way it's gonna pull the ball back. You don't have to pull it as much.
Copy.
Right? So let's go ahead and try that. That was better.
Felt better.
Yeah. That was much better. Once we get this efficient, you're gonna notice that, oh, I don't have to pull up.
Yeah.
Which means now I'm not using muscle. That was very good.
Jason, looks like I'm gonna take your class one more time. It's $1,000 move right there. It doesn't feel tense.
Yeah.
Everything else is like, okay, now you have everything in place. You're actually coming around the ball the way you want it. Mm-hmm. And it's like less strain on everything.
Yeah, on everything, yeah. And when we really tense those muscles up, right, and we try to throw, especially underhand, like the typical thing is if we're throwing with our arm, typically we're gonna throw our shoulder into it, and that's all sorts of bad. We definitely want that pendulum, and this will help us get there. Better.
$2,000, got it. Now, this is a question.
Sure.
When you lower your ball, how quick normally would it be like to get it out?
Everything's the same.
Okay.
All you're doing is changing where you start.
Where you start.
On this one, drop the ball a little lower. Even if it's a little lower, we still want to make sure we get that ball rounded off a little bit. Right? Get that momentum going backwards. When we can get it more efficient with our arm swing, we are going to be able to clear the ball quicker. When we clear the ball quicker, your rev rate will go up. There's two extremes to it, right? If you think straight down is here, right? If you think too much is here, right? We're going to split that difference. Nice rounded.
Copy that. Tucked in the elbow.
See how like nothing else moves except my foot? And this step here should just be kind of for timing and momentum.
Okay.
One of my bad habits is on my first step, I'll try to start migrating the ball a little bit. I don't want to do that because the timing's a lot harder. And like, it's okay, but it's not consistent enough. When I push the ball away, I want it to start and then go. When the ball does start, I know the timing. I know I'm here and everything's the same. If it's just one solid motion, another solid motion, it's easier to figure out your timing.
Have solid consistency throughout.
Yeah, just to get the timing factor.
The timing factor,
yeah.
Okay. Oh, too slow. Does standing anywhere on the lane factor in timing? Because you're a little longer, you're a little shorter.
It's kind of the same concept.
Really?
A little bit. Now, me personally, like, if I can keep as many factors the same as possible, but it make the adjustments, that's what I shoot for. If I was standing here and for whatever reason, I'm like, oh, I need to speed up. For me, I'd rather keep my footwork the exact same and just speed it up rather than take longer steps, shorter steps. It's gonna mess with your timing more. Like even if I'm trying to throw it harder, I just wanna make my feet go faster. And that's why I will technically kind of shorten my arm swing, which makes it travel less, which means I have to speed my feet up to correct the timing.
Shortening the arm swing helps it with the timing as well.
Yeah, it'll affect your timing, and your body's smart enough to be like, oh, I need to get in timing. I'm naturally going to have to move faster.
Move faster.
Yeah. Now, obviously, you have to work on it and train yourself to think that way.
That's just repetition at that point.
Yeah.
Feeling what we were working on feels way less tense.
We'll keep working on your equipment. As far as the camera goes, he was like that, right? He's palming it. Now we have you a little bit less, right?
Palming it.
But it's still a long span. Like right now you're kind of half thumbing it, but in order to kind of hold that, you're gonna have to grip it, right? Yeah. If we have your thumb in all the way, what it's gonna do is you can use more of your thumb to hold onto it instead of being on one point.
I think we might have just cracked the code is where we might have to open up this thumb a little bit more to where I'm actually in this.
I would suggest is we get rid of the offset.
Okay.
I think what we'll do too is before I go mess with your equipment, I'm gonna take your lock and I'm gonna do something a little different on it. What I'm gonna do is do the pitch fingers, and I'm going to change your span. What I'm gonna try to do is shorten it a little bit, try to get you to get that thumb in a little bit more and not have your palm so much on the ball. When your palm's on the ball, it's hard to manipulate. Like if you watch a lot of the pros and stuff, like when they go through the ball, like you can see almost like a fat gap because they're working the inside of the ball. When we have our palm on the ball, it's hard to get inside of it. When you throw that ball, it looks more effortless. Like you're getting out of it cleaner and you don't decelerate as much. Like it looks like you just don't have to hold on to it.
Yeah, I feel it. Let me go off of this shot. Feels way more smoother.
One of the big things I'm noticing with that ball roll versus that one is when you go to throw the ball, I can see you're having to hold on to it. And when you throw it, you can see like more energy transfer going up because you have to hold on to it, right? With that one, you have to hold on to as much and you're able to get the ball projected down lane more. Like when we talk about energy, like we want it to be like a plane landing. It's the same concept to get it clean and efficient going down lane. Like we don't want to waste energy, then we have to work harder, right? Great shot. This looks so much better, it's so much cleaner. Like I'd say it's improved by 50%. Like you're still muscling on the downswing, which is totally fine. But if we can fix this, then we can work on the downswing a little bit more.
On the downswing, how would you like me to critique the shot? So we're here, as you said, and you're seeing me come here. You don't want me here. You want me as straight as possible.
Not as straight as possible, but you know, you want to keep the arm engaged a little bit. You want to swing and everything, but it's not necessarily trying to go like that. You know, then you're engaging your tricep a lot. We really just want the ball to take our arm. So it's not necessarily we want to be in a specific arm swing. We just want to make sure that that ball is carrying our arm back, and we're not trying to manipulate the ball path. We're just letting the ball come through. That push away is better. If you're trying to work on something at the line, but on like your first or fifth, you know, whatever, before then, something is weird. Well, you're never gonna be able to work on what you're working on because you're already sabotaging yourself in your first, second, third step, whatever the case may be. If you were a worse bowler, I'd probably start with your feet, right? That's your foundation.
Or I'm already ahead of the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you know exactly
we can do more advanced techniques like what we're doing. When you get the ball pushed away and get it traveling backwards, we really just want that loose arm swing. Like it would just help with efficiency more than anything. And you're gonna be able to manipulate the ball way more than you can when you're all bound up and muscled up. If I'm trying to get your downswing loosened up, if you muscle up and then like, let's just say you barely muscle down, now your timing's messed up. Or you muscle up, but maybe you relax too early and then the ball floats there too long and then you go. If we are just letting gravity take the ball, it's gonna be consistent every time because gravity does not change. Well, that was a practice session with my man JP. We worked on a few things. A lot of it has to do with his first couple steps to get his arm swing loosened up so he can manipulate the ball a little bit more and have better timing. There's a few things we're gonna do off the lane as well with his fitment. The biggest thing is when you guys do practice, try to focus on 1 or 2 little things. If you're trying to do 5 or 6 things at once, you'll never be able to master any of it. If you can break down your practices, you're gonna be more efficient and you're gonna be better with your time. How'd you feel about it, JP?
Bro, I learned something.
Yeah.
Like beforehand, it was, from when I first started till now, it's been like, you just see like the rise.
Yeah.
And it's just from what I was noticing from what I was just doing now to fixing something, now it's like, now I know exactly what to work on. And then the next time if we do a video again, the next time you'll see a difference. Yeah. And now we'll work on the next step of doing whatever. Yeah. It's a step by step. But for surely I learned a lot. Like it was different. Like it something that now I just want to do it now. Like, it's like now, even though I got to go do other stuff, I just want to stay here and actually work on it. It's just that feeling that.
Yeah, and that's the one thing about video especially, but coaching as well. Like, you might work on something, but what you feel versus what you actually do can sometimes be totally different. Like, hey, I want to make sure I get my timing started here. Well, you might think you're starting it there, but then your friend's like, oh no, like you're holding onto it or something like that. Video helps a lot, guys. Take video. If you guys want more JP, by the way, please let us know.
Come back.
I love bowling with this guy. Great energy, good style.
Gotta get you up to date, my guy.
Yeah, and I have a W on the channel, so
yes,
you're my favorite.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. The whole mindset coming in was the goal was, yes, I'm gonna win even though I'm gonna get my I already knew it, but at the same time, it felt like Isaiah Thomas on Kobe. Oh my God, mama, I made it. That's exactly how I felt bowling against you. I was like, I care less. You can score on me all day, bro. I care. I'm having a blast. Like, I could tell, Ace probably even noticed it off camera, man. It was just, I couldn't hold my energy back, but it was at the same time.
No, you gotta have a good time.
First shot on camera was a little different, man.
Yeah, it was.
I enjoyed it, man.
Good. Well, hey, thanks again for coming on the channel.
Of course, man.
We'll definitely do more in the future for sure. If you guys want some more videos like this, more practice sessions, please let us know. But please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We definitely appreciate it. With that said, my name is Jason Robarge.
Jay Prince, as you already know.
We're Rev It Up Bowling. Much love. Peace.